I do think from a college standpoint, I do think they would insist on players going. It is one thing for professional athletes to have a stance. I think when you're in college, it's part of the learning process. You're young adults. You're not fully fledged professional adults. What you are is in a learning process, and I think as an institution, there needs to be some sort of unity and respect for the office.
Okay, because you're in college, you're no longer a citizen of the United States who has rights just like anyone else?
It's not a question of that. When you're
Why not?
representing a team, you're representing your school, it puts your school in a different light.
What's the difference between a school and a professional team? I mean, I think that
a contract.
But they sign a letter of intent, which you could argue is also a contract. That shouldn't mean anything. I mean, if you are a citizen in the United States, and if you have a legitimate reason why you don't want to be used as a photo op for a president or anyone else, I think it is absolutely criminal to force a young person or anyone of any age.
I never said force. I said insist.
What's the difference?
Because when you speak to your coaches, you're speaking to your faculty. Your faculty will impose. That's the teaching process.
Wait, so what are they going to do?
I think a basketball coach.
What if you push back? They're going to take your scholarship away? Is that fair?
I don't think it's a threat. I think it's an insistence. I think what they're going to say is stand up for your team and represent the team. I have no problem when the Chicago Cubs wanted to go to the White House before Donald Trump took office. I understand that. But that's a bunch of individuals who are on a professional level. When you're talking about a school and we're talking about learning institutions, I think it sets a bad precedent.
Really? I mean, I feel like the college players are already being exploited to a certain degree so much. You know, why force them to have to do something that if they give you a legitimate reason they don't want to do it, why force them or insist that they have to do it? I mean, they're citizens just like us. And, you know, with all due respect to Jay Wright, one of my least favorite and one of the worst arguments for doing anything is saying it's because we've always done it that way. I mean, that to me, and I understand respecting tradition, but this goes beyond that. You know, I also asked Jay in this interview how much he's spoken to his team about the election and Donald Trump being elected. And he said it's been difficult, especially for players who are minorities on his team. They are concerned about what's going to happen in their communities. To then insist, force, however you want to put it, one of those players to go and stand next to the president and smile for a photo op, to me, is not teaching the right message. If you're talking about educating young men to become full people, complete people, be strong in their beliefs, take a side and have to defend it. I mean, what are you teaching them by forcing or insisting them to go to the White House?
He wants to invite the conversation.
Right.
Have that conversation. I don't think it's as black and white where a player is going to literally be said, you're getting sent home if you don't come to the White House. But I think that dialogue has to happen, whereas I don't think it's Joe Madden's responsibility to talk to Anthony Rizzo. I don't think that's what you do when it's two professionals. But when you're talking about students and faculty, the dialogue has to happen. And that's what I mean by insistence.
Yeah, I guess I don't see a difference just because you're a college player. You're presumably over 18. You can vote. I mean, you should be able to exercise your political rights, too. Very interesting debate. As Jay Wright said, it'd be a good problem to have, but I think it's one that really considers serious merit. I mean, what kind of message are you sending to your team?
But then there's other coaches that will have to say that because somebody else might win, too.